So this is a really cool before and after that we wanted to highlight. So this is Kyle. Kyle's a really talented player. He's in the end run of his season here. He's looking to basically become a little more consistent on his partials. So like his 75%, let's call this 75%, like 7 irons here. Wanted to show this face on first. So this is before, this is kind of middle session, and this is the end of the session, right? So this before here, what we notice is just this basically like this early downward dive of this left side. So we wanted to take this out of it, especially if I'm going to hit a partial. This is a lot to undo. This is a decent turn, like better thorax turn, nice load. But for a partial, right, that's going to be a lot of work to get back here, where this is a very nice in between position of these two previous ones here, where we're actually not getting the dive down the left side. We're actually getting a more centered turn here, less to undo to hit the partial, right? So if we look at this thing down the line, right, in this after here, we're going to get a lower butt that's more expanded, pump handle that's basically more open for business. And then before, we have this energy that's only going to go forward and essentially right when he takes the club away. So when we see this here in slide 2, right, or in this slide here, it's in this after, we get a right elbow that can accept energy. We got a right shoulder that's relaxed. Before, we have this anteriorly oriented scapula. The top of the heart of this toothpaste tube is closed again for business. There's no accepting of this vertical push of the vertical energy. So it's basically he's going forward here. We look at the result of this at the top of the swing. Obviously, the club is obvious, right? There's going to be way less to undo in this position versus this position. But we'll also want to take a look at the increased left thorax IR bend, right? This is an invasion of space into the ball, right? He got forward and floaty when he pushed into the ground, right? So he needs some downforce because he's losing his right foot context. So he's got to create a little more left thorax IR bend, right? See our previous post where Tony and I sort of discussed some of this. After her, we get this resultant push down into the ground. This allows for energy to propagate vertically, and the thorax is actually creating a much tighter rotation here. You want better thorax turn rotation. Stop doing like prone thorax bending rotation stuff. Stop doing open books exercises. Get a better vertical push just off center, and then you'll have better thorax rotation just like that. We look at the downswing here. Again, club and hand path is going to be a very obvious difference here. In the before, though, we have this heel that's coming off the ground, and the space is going to be invaded, right? So essentially, you can't side bend yourself enough in this position. You can't jam your left foot into the toe box enough. You can't spin off a chair hard enough to save this here, nor would you really want to, right? Here we have much better balance because we got the verticality of the guts in the early position, which is a better, like, he's got a better control of his center mass, and obviously the club is very obviously different in this here, especially, again, trying to hit partials here. I want the club to be I want to do less on the way down here for this swing here. We look at the final position here. Because I was moving into the ball before here, this is going to be like almost like a stop and sort of throw, right? We get the club, look at the orientation of the face here as a result of it, versus here we're actually turning left. This is a supported left turn. Again, way less to do here. You see the result of what I had to do here to deal with trying to hit these sort of partial swings. So again, Kyle's incredibly consistent, incredible player. This is just to clean up that myself and Chris Waukee and Helix Golf Institute, that's kind of how we went through in this hour session to create this nice little change here to help Kyle more consistent. Thanks, guys.